Hey everybody, welcome back to Screwball, a baseball podcast, your home for everything baseball. I'm your host Mike Lepre here with my co-host Frank White.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, we got a lot to talk about this week, got a lot of news, got some injuries coming in, some rumors, a lot to talk about this week. A lot of hoopla going on with the Astros, a lot of players hitting well, a lot of players not hitting well. So we'll get right into the news here with the top story that's really been circling baseball that really ever since it started is the Phillies, the Marlins, and the Cardinals are all missing games due to COVID. We have not seen the Marlins play baseball in about a week due to the severe outbreak that they encountered. Phillies are set to return tonight against the Yankees after having numerous negative tests across all players, staff, and coaches. And the Cardinals are still quarantining in Milwaukee and are waiting word on more results. I believe they had 13 positive tests, so they're going to quarantine, and they are going to miss their series against the Tigers. I believe they were set to play. So the Cardinals are now in the situation that the Marlins were in, where they have to quarantine and really have to be careful about their next moves. Phillies, thankfully, didn't have, I don't think they had any positive tests, so they were good to go. They're going to play the Yankees. I believe they're going to have a doubleheader on Wednesday to account for the severe rain that's going to come through the East here on Tuesday. So we'll finally get to see the Phillies play some games. Hopefully the Marlins soon will be able to play some games. And the Cardinals, unfortunately, are succumbing to the unfortunate COVID outbreak. So we'll see what happens with them. I mean, what do you think? We kind of predicted that, the Marlins weren't going to be the only team this had happened to. And now we're seeing kind of the Cardinals encounter that too. So, I mean, you got anything to add here? Or, I mean, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think every team is going to have an outbreak of some sort. It's just, I think it's good that we're having a couple outbreaks early on in the season, like we mentioned last week, just so we can, the league can kind of see, the players can kind of see what's going on. The league can make adjustments, protocols, kind of put more, put more pressure on the players to be safe. And also, the good news is, I think about 90% of the players who have tested positive or staff have showed no symptoms or asymptomatic. So that's good for the players' overall health. So that's a good sign that they're not getting severely sick, or it's not a severe strain of it. So that's always good news. So they'll make adjustments, and they'll figure it out piece by piece.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening early. Hopefully we don't have to talk about it every week with a new outbreak. So hopefully everyone heals up well. Hopefully there's nothing serious going on with any of the coaches, the staff, or any of the players or anything. And hopefully they can get back out there and play some baseball. All right, second piece of news. Yoenis Cespedes opted out of the season, leaving the Mets in an awkward position. According to MLB.com, quote, Mets outfielder Yoenis Cespedes has elected not to play the rest of the season due to COVID-19 related concerns. General Manager Brodie Van Wagen said on Sunday, the announcement came hours after Cespedes, according to Van Wagen, left his hotel room in Atlanta without telling team officials, end quote. So Yoenis Cespedes, players we've seen have been opting out. Players have decided that it's just not in their best interest to be playing right now with safety or whatever, whatever is going on in their personal lives. They want to just stay healthy and stay safe. But Cespedes was an interesting news piece to read about. Over the weekend, they first reported that they didn't know where he was. He didn't answer his phone calls, didn't report to the stadium, nothing. And then they found, I think, his apartment, everything was gone, and I believe they ended up hearing from his agent was how they got the news. So kind of put the Mets in a weird place. And I know some people put their tinfoil hat on and said that Cespedes had already contacted the Mets and told them that he wasn't playing, but for optics, the Mets decided to change how the news came out. So that's a little tinfoil hat theory I saw going around, but I don't know how much I buy that necessarily. I mean, what do you think about this news? I mean, Cespedes is really not making many fans with the Mets. People were excited to see him play finally after so much time, and I mean, now he pulls something like this. So what do you think?
Well, I think Cespedes, as I said, his whole career, that he's really there for the money and for himself.
Mm-hmm.
He always has been. You can look back all the way when he first came into the league. He came into signed a big deal with the A's, a team who one's not much for money, but wasn't very good at the time.
Yeah.
So why would you make that deal? Especially being from the Dominican and stuff like that. It's a team that really doesn't seem to be that East Coast, feel that they've never been a big Dominican team. You know what I mean? They don't have that big import signing and stuff like that. So it just kind of shocked people there.
Yeah.
You're thinking maybe L.A., one of the Florida teams, one of the big East Coast teams, Yankees, Mets, Phillies, something like that. So it was kind of shocked there. But he's always been for the money. His contract with his injury, they cut his contract, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
With the cut season, they cut it again. I believe he was only getting $2.2 million this year.
Yep.
From a contract, he was supposed to be getting like $26 million a year.
Yeah.
So with the injury and then the coronavirus shortening the season, he's only getting $2.2 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just, seen the team was struggling already, seen that here's a chance that he's not going to play the outfield anymore, which obviously he probably doesn't like, and a possibility that he's not going to get much playing time because he wasn't playing well, he's older, he has injuries. I think he was just like, I'm not playing.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with coronavirus. I think he just decided he wasn't playing because he wasn't getting paid, he wasn't going to play as much, and he was on a team that who really knows where they're going to end up.
Yeah.
So he's just not playing anymore. So he just he's just like, I'm not playing for you guys anymore. And I think he really ran himself out of baseball too. I don't see another team sign him. Why? Nor would you. Guy who looked overweight to be honest.
Yeah.
And a guy who can't move. Defensively, he doesn't really care.
Mm-hmm.
As long as he's getting paid, he doesn't really care.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. But not a big fan of Cespedes, just because he always kind of knew he was for the money and for himself, and that's pretty much where he's at. That's why he left.
Yeah, he like I said, he can't be making many fans. I know I never really cared all that much for Cespedes, but I thought he was a pretty exciting player. His days with the A's and early on, coming to the Mets and the World Series run. I thought he was an exciting player, and things just really tumbled from there. I mean, he really fell from grace. And I know personally a lot of my friends who are Mets fans were excited for him to come back, have some productivity in the lineup or just something to jumpstart the lineup or, just to have him back. You're paying him all that money. Have him on the field at least, So this is a strange situation. I don't think you're far off in saying that he's about the money and he's just kind of, phoning it in. So we'll see what happens with that if anything develops. But, yeah, Cespedes is opting out of the season.
I think this might be actually a good thing for the Mets to just get rid of him. Because it's just been a problem. That's all he's been.
Yeah.
Other than, half a season?
Really, yeah.
And really, it was a problem to get him. Because it caused the problem with Carlos Gomez. Remember that whole issue, and then he ended up getting him.
Yep.
So it was weird the way they got him, because things fell through, and now things are falling through to get rid of him. I think it was just finally a good way to get rid of him, because he's just a pain.
Yeah.
It was just always the golfing outing and the extra injuries and not trying and the errors in the World Series, and
yeah,
he didn't care. It just seemed like the Mets were. Every time you talked about Cespedes, it was a big laugh.
Yeah.
So the Mets finally getting rid of him. I think it might be actually a good thing.
Yeah, I can't necessarily disagree, just because they already got enough headaches as an organization with injuries, and there's always sitting like a dark cloud over the Mets. So to get rid of one more problem, as it's seeming right now, could help them. All right, number 3. Is the MLB season in jeopardy already? After a bit of a rocky start to the season with multiple teams having to quarantine, Rob Manfred and MLBPA head Tony Clark have had public discussions about moving forward. According to Rob Manfred, quote, "We are playing. The players need to be better, but I am not a quitter in general, and there is no reason to quit now. We have to be fluid, but it is manageable," end quote. Manfred has reportedly told Tony Clark that, in short, things need to improve. So this is kind of a news story making the rounds not too long ago. People talking about, well, the season might just get shut down if things don't improve. And I'm of the mind that I don't see, unless something really catastrophic happens where you see a lot of teams get it, I don't see the season shutting down that easily. I think it really would take quite a bit for it to happen. And I do believe what Manfred is saying here, even though I'm not always on Manfred's side, but I do kind of believe what he's saying here, and that they're not going to quit and they're going to try and get through it. And he's kind of putting the heavy lifting on Tony Clark for him and the MLBPA to do their jobs. But I mean, what do you think of the whole situation? It's again, Manfred's in the news with something going on that doesn't make him look all that great. So I mean, what do you think? I don't personally think the season will shut down unless something cataclysmic happens.
No, they're not shutting the season down.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just a warning sign to the players. It's like, look, we want you to play. You guys want to play, but this is pretty much just like hey, it only takes 1-2 bad decisions, 1-2 players to do something stupid to cause 3, 4, 5 teams to have an issue.
Yeah.
So it's just a reminder, like, hey, be smart. And it was like, hey, we can shut the season down.
Yeah.
And you guys don't get paid. You guys lose stats. You guys lose accolades. You lose a chance at a World Series. You lose a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was just, a reminder. And it gave the league a good chance to put in more protocols and stronger penalties and stronger, watches out on players. They'll have like a team official now to keep a watch on the players, so they don't leave unexpectedly and stuff like that. So it's just like a warning, slap on the wrist, like, hey, let's be smart.
Yeah.
Or this can happen. So it is what it is. They're not going to shut the season down.
No, yeah, I agree. I just, and like you said, it could be just a thing of, maybe like a public thing, letting people know, letting the players know, hey, we're not going to shut it down. We'll keep it moving. So, you got to question the things that they want to make public and the conversations they want to make public. So, yeah, I agree. I don't think there's anything to worry about there as of right now. You never know what could happen in the future. Number 4, Shohei Ohtani to undergo MRI due to throwing arm discomfort. According to ESPN.com, quote, Shohei Ohtani expressed discomfort in his throwing arm after another abbreviated start on Sunday and was sent for an MRI. Ohtani's last 3 fastballs didn't even break 90 miles an hour, end quote. So, I mean, Shohei Ohtani is probably one of the more exciting players in baseball, being kind of on both sides of the ball, being a pitcher and a really good hitter so far for the Angels. And, I mean, he's really looked bad on the mound. I think he's completed, 1 inning? I don't think he got through the second, and he didn't even get an out.
5 outs.
Yeah.
We got 5 outs. I believe we gave it 7 runs and 5 outs. This last outing, he got 5 outs, had 5 walks. Yeah, I mean, at what point do you just, if you're the Angels, you just take whatever he's going to be good at, and whatever he can be healthy at, which is a hitter, and just give him more time, and just maybe become a short starter, an opener, a reliever, multiple inning reliever, something like that. I think it's mostly just not having a lot of time throwing. I mean, he's had time. Don't get me wrong. They didn't rush this at all. Just not a lot of time to get his mechanics back. He is worried about hitting. He is worried about other things. And also, I think it's all, when you get Tommy John, you get the discomfort in your arm from scar tissue and not using it a lot and stuff like that. So that's probably mostly what this is.
Yeah.
But it could obviously be other issues involved. But the Angels got to make a decision quick because obviously you have 60 games and we're already about 10 games through.
Yeah.
So you got to make a decision here soon. And that might just be to let him hit and just, again, shut him down and just worry about getting that healthy in the offseason.
Yeah. If I were them, I'd probably just have him hit because he is a good hitter. So if you just tell him, hey, worry about DHing and hitting, we'll worry about the pitch in the offseason or something, then could help him.
You could take this chance, too, if his arm's not severely hurt, take this chance to teach him a position.
Yeah, that's true.
Teach him first base, maybe teach him left field, just to give him a little bit of versatility, which helps your lineup, too.
Yeah.
Like, he has to DH. Well, he could play first once in a while, or he can play left once in a while. We'll give you some versatility as well.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the MRI, see what it reports back.
To go along with that, you got some other players, noticeable players that you can see who have, went on the IL or, opted out. Lorenzo Cain hasn't moved to Brewers. He opted out. Weird that they waited 10 games, almost like, hey, if we play good, I'll come back. If we don't, I'm leaving. Yeah. It's a weird situation, but he's decided to opt out. Roberto Ozuna for the Astros on the IL, an injury. The Rockies, Scott Oberg and Wade Davis, both on the IL. Oberg, a little bit more scarier situation. This is the 3rd time he's had blood clots. Yeah. So he's dealing with that again. So he might be shut down for good. He also might even end his career at this point. So we'll see. He's a really good pitcher. Wade Davis imploded the other day, like 5 runs, blew one of the Rockies games. Yeah. He's on the IL. That might just be the end of him. He might get healthy and might just designate him for assignment or whatever. Yeah. Or trade him off for nothing and just be like, if you guys want him, take him. Yeah. And Tommy Kahnle for the Yankees is on the verge of Tommy John, so he'll be out. So those are a couple of big injuries, especially to pitchers, that we've seen in the last few days. That's pretty much all I have for injuries and some opt-outs. Those are some of the bigger ones I noticed, just because they're pitchers.
Yeah, I'm surprised. There were some other players that were opting out. I was surprised to see so many people at this late in the season. At this point, you're like a sixth of the way through the season, and people are opting out. It is weird, like you said, maybe like, we're not playing well, so F it, or something like that. The injury is unfortunate for Kahnle. It was forearm strain, so kind of similar to what I think Verlander was a forearm strain, probably Tommy John. Obviously, we'll see what happens. We can't say for sure yet. And Scott Oberg, that's unfortunate too. Hopefully, it doesn't end his career. Wade Davis just hasn't pitched well, so it might even help the Rockies at this point, to have him not pitching, which is an unfortunate situation for him. But we'll see what happens. The Rockies are playing good, so maybe they get another bullpen arm up, another bullpen arm or two. Young guy, could throw good, so we'll see what happens with that. All right, the last piece of news that I got to wrap up the news section is who is doing the best right now. Currently, the Yankees have the best record in baseball. The 7-1 record, they won 6 straight, which in a 162-game season is about a 16-game winning streak, to put it in perspective. The Twins and the Cubs, though, are right behind them with a 7-2 record. Twins and Cubs have really been playing well. The Twins have been mashing the ball. And the team with the current best run differential is the Dodgers with a plus 30, and the Diamondbacks have the worst with a minus 25 run differential. Some other notable teams that are doing well, the Rockies are killing it. Old Frankie Boy predicted that. You know, the A's and the Astros are kind of battling out for the West right now. I think they both got the same record. Orioles are very surprising right now, I got to say. I'm very surprised that they're doing well. They got a nice little team over there. You know, so there's some surprises. You know, it's still early. You know, most teams have only played, you know, like 10 games. In the Yankees' case, 8. So we'll see what happens, but, you know, got some interesting stuff going on right now. I mean, what do you think? You got any other teams you want to mention that are really playing well, or any teams that really just caught your eye, even if they're not playing all that great?
I mean, you mentioned the Rockies. They have the lower starting ERA, so go figure. They, you know, a team that can't pitch and a team in a ballpark that the ball goes 700 feet. You know, everyone wants to tell you about that.
Mm-hmm.
They're pitching the best. Kyle Freeland, what did we say?
Mm-hmm.
We said that if he could pitch even close, half of what he did 2 years ago, they're going to be good. Antonio Senzatella is pitching well. Herman Marquez.
Yep.
Some of the bullpen guys have been pitching pretty good. Their hittings, you know, Trevor Story's hitting it's not out of the ball.
Yeah.
You know, Oronado's running 700 feet to catch fly balls. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like I mentioned, you know, you kind of lose Ian Desmond. You go, he opted out, but you know, it helps your defense in the outfield.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Murphy, guy can hit the ball. Some of these young guys, they're still without Brendan Rodgers. They didn't call up yet, and
Mm-hmm.
another young pitcher they have. He's like 103. I can't really think of his name right now. So they got some guys. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a good team in a division that's, you know, you think, oh, it's the Dodgers, so maybe the Padres. No. Rockies are right there.
Yeah.
And it's hard. I don't care if there's no fans or what. It's hard to go to Colorado and beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to going to Oakland and beat them. So we'll see. The Orioles, they're second place. They just swept the Rays.
Yeah.
You know, it's why not us? Same kind of saying that the Marlins got.
Yeah.
Why can't we make the playoffs? Why can't we, you know, go play good? So,
Yeah.
you know, it's good for them, you know, see them play a little bit and, you know, just excite that fan base again.
Yeah.
Atlanta had a little bit of a, not really a slow start, just like a weird start there, and then all of a sudden they were like, oh, the Mets, well, it's not, you know, beat them right out of the water. So, Atlanta's playing well.
Yeah, of course.
Other than that, I mean, everyone else is kind of just middling.
Yeah.
I think the Padres are 6-4. I thought they were playing well.
Yeah, they are.
Even the games that they lost, they're right in the hunt of it.
Yeah, they look good.
So another team that's, you know, looking good. And then I thought the Tigers, for a team that's not really that great, has been playing okay. The Giants, for a team that's not good. I'm not even gonna lie to you, they're just not good.
Mm-hmm.
They're 5-5.
Yeah.
So what the hell, you know? And that's what you want to do. You want to just sit there for now, until the season kind of really kicks into gear, and then you can kind of make your way through that.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then the next thing you're gonna talk about is the teams that aren't doing good. Obviously, there's a few teams that you could really catch your eye with that. The Red Sox.
Yeah, they don't look good at all.
I mean, who's pitching? The lineup doesn't look very deep either. You got, two guys? 3 guys?
You got Bogarts is the only one really hitting right now.
Yeah.
You know.
Devers is all right. Martinez is all right. Those guys can hit.
Oh, yeah.
You know, obviously. But then after that, you know what?
I think Vasquez is the only other one hitting right now, I think.
The lineup's very not good, you know, not deep.
Yeah.
Benintendi, you don't even remember him. He doesn't even play half the time anymore. So they're not doing very good. The Rays just got swept by the O's, so
yeah,
not
great.
What's going on there?
Yeah.
The Reds were not awful, just a slow start.
Mm-hmm.
Just swept both games with the Tigers yesterday.
Yep.
So that puts them at 4-5 on the year.
Yep.
The NL Central has one team over 500, which is crazy. But it kind of expects. They always like that. Central's always like, we're not that good. And all of a sudden they have like 3 teams in a normal season over 90 wins. You're like, what happened?
Yeah.
So
I'm a little surprised it's the Cubs too.
Yeah. And then you have, you know, the Mets. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you anymore. Your pitching's not good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to tell you there. Your offense, I think I seen something. They had the most hits this year, and they have the worst hits average with runners in scoring position.
Of course.
So you can have 30 hits, but they're not hitting any balls with guys. I think they're like 2 for the last 23 or something with guys in scoring position in the last 2-3 games. They're not pitching great. The bullpen, you guys tell us. I mean, they're not very good.
Yeah.
Diaz is, I don't know what to tell you. Familia's not doing great. You bring in Lugo the other day thinking, oh, finally, you got the good. What happened?
Yeah.
Close the game. So, they're just not doing great. Even though they say they have a deep lineup and everything, they're just not. They don't play defense.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone kind of knew their defense was maybe be better, maybe a little bit better this year, but they don't play defense.
Yeah.
McNeil's not a Gold Glove fielder. Alonso's not a Gold Glove fielder. Cano's not a Gold Glover anymore. Ahmed Rosario's gotten better. He's not bad.
Yep.
Can't discredit him. Their outfield defense isn't good. I don't care how they want to say. I've seen 7 balls go over their head in one game. Maybe back up. That's okay. You don't have to play behind Jeff McNeil, second base. You can play deep. Conforto's not a fantastic defender. I don't care what they say. J.D. Davis, all those guys. Back up. Every time I watch Mets games, ball over their head. 2-hop defense or something. Like, how does that happen? Back up. It's not hard. So, I don't know what's going on with the Mets. That team's going to be in a big overhaul. This coach might not last. The GM might not last. There's going to be a new owner. You're going to have a bunch of players out the door. You're going to see Diaz maybe gone, Cano gone, Cespedes already gone. Who knows? They might even get rid of DeGrom at this point. Who knows what they do? Syndergaard might be gone. Mats, I don't know what they're going to do. New owner comes in. So this team's, who knows? Or they could win the next 10 and be right in the hunt.
Yeah.
But if I know the Mets, I think I do, we're not going to really see that.
Yeah. Yeah, some other teams that you could mention, the Angels really ain't doing hot. They don't look really all that great.
Well, they don't seem to have any of their guys ever.
I know.
They didn't have Rendon. Oh, Rendon's back? Now Trout's having a kid. Can't blame him there, but he's having a kid, so he's gone. Last year you didn't have Upton for a long time. You didn't have Ohtani for a while. Pujols, in and out. So it just keeps seeming like once their offense gets whole, they're gone. Simmons got hurt the other day. So it's like once they get, it's like, oh man, we got them. Oh, what happened? They're all gone again.
Yeah.
So if they can get their lineup back, they might turn it around. And also the West hasn't been out the gate strong out there, so
no,
that's good for them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, got some hot teams right now, got some cold teams kind of in the middle, which is nice for them just kind of sit there. And it'll be an interesting trade deadline too, because really even a 3-7 team right now, you're still in it. There's nothing really to get all shucks about already, but you gotta start going. You gotta
be 7-3 just to get to 500.
Yeah.
So that's the thing though. You gotta have a real good run to get to 500. But if you're hanging right around 500, I mean,
yeah, you're in a good spot.
You're right in the hunt. That's where you want to be the first 2-3 weeks until you really get into baseball.
Yeah.
So the season really goes, and everyone feels kind of normal again.
Yeah. So that segues nicely into our next segment: who's hot and who's not. So we picked 5 hot players, 5 not players. Got some honorable mentions here, and I think we should start out with the 2 hottest players, according at least to the Player of the Week awards. You got Aaron Judge. Batted .368, 6 homers, 13 RBIs. Had a home run in 5 straight games, 2 home runs on Sunday. He's doing real good. He's got the long ball working. Aaron Judge is one of those players. He's just got to stay healthy. That's the only thing with him because we know when he's on the field, he's good. There's no question.
Missed 110 games in 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and hopefully it's not an epidemic for him. It's just he had bad luck.
Pandemic, but
yeah.
He's playing good defensively too.
Oh, yeah.
Double play the other day, a couple nice plays. So we'll see what he does. But him and Stanton healthy for the first time, really, since he's been there. Yeah. So we'll see what that lineup could do with those 2, monsters in the middle.
Yeah, that lineup, the team Yankees when they're healthy is just they're unstoppable. So if they can keep the health and the season finishes,
they got to be. No matter what, they got to be able to not hit home runs and win games though.
That's
I don't care as a Yankee fan. I don't really care. You got to be able to not hit home runs and win games. Yeah. So you got to be a lot of DJ LeMahieu's out there and stop swinging and missing 310 times. So if they could do that, with that bullpen and the starting pitching is going to come around, obviously. But the bullpen being good, defensively they're well. Then they could do something. Yeah. So they got to be able to run the bases a little bit, and they got to be able to make contact and just be hitters at times. Right now you can hit home runs, crush them. You can hit 400 in 2 games. I don't care. You can win games like that in July.
Yeah.
But when it's cold out, you got to win games by just getting 2 runs, manufacturing them.
Yeah. So. Yeah, hopefully you just have the hot guys like Judge and Stanton kind of riding you right now while everyone else figures it out, and LeMahieu's there, so you don't have to worry about him.
Yeah, you got 3 hot hitters and 1 okay hitter, and then it all switches.
Yeah, then everyone figures it out.
And 2 weeks, then the other guys who are not doing good, and they're hot, and then you get 1 okay guy, and the other ones are doing cold. Yeah. You just keep flip-flopping. You just can't. You really don't want to be all cold, and really you don't really want to be all hot right now.
Yeah. That's true.
If you could get all hot at the end of the year, of course that's what you want.
Mm.
You just want half your lineup to be, a couple guys hot, a couple guys doing all right.
Yeah.
And you kind of just keep flip-flopping all year.
Yeah.
That's where you really where you want to be.
And that's where a lineup like the Yankees, Astros, Dodgers got a deep lineup. So you could have like an Aaron Judge batting good. Then you can have guys like Gary Sanchez figure it out. Or on the Astros, you have guys like Jose Altuve figure it out. You
and
know,
a deep bench is good too.
Yeah.
Because then you give them the extra rest. You can give them whatever you need. Really good players on the bench. Players who probably could be starting on other teams. They're on the bench.
Yeah.
So they can come in and do their job.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you want to be. So
Sure.
We'll see what the Yankees can do. And obviously Dodgers, Astros, a couple teams like that. So.
All right, the next top player, the NL player of the week, Nick Castellanos, batted .429, had 4 homers and 10 RBIs. I mean, he's killing it. He's continuing that streak he had with the Cubs, justifying that contract, and Nick Castellanos can play baseball. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Next player, Jeff McNeil. For all that the Mets really haven't been doing all that great. He's batting .440 over the last week with a .533 on base, a .1053 OPS. I mean, he's doing good. Got to give credit where credit's due. He's the real McNeil. Next is Charlie Blackmon, that potent Rockies lineup. He's batting .500 in the last week.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good.
With a .522 on base and a .1249 OPS. I mean, Charlie Blackmon's hitting the cover off the ball. Then the final guy we want to talk about is Donovan Solano. Quietly, I haven't even heard anyone talking about him. He's batting .571 over the last week. .571 with a .582 on base and a .1441 OPS. I mean, he's talking about hitting the cover off the ball. .571. That's pretty good.
Why don't you tell everybody what team he plays for?
Giants.
There you go, buddy. Because nobody knew that.
Yeah.
I remember when he played with the Marlins, he had a good start to 1 year. Good run for the Marlins of 1 year. I think I had him on my fantasy team for a little while just because he needed somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But always bounces around. Always seems to be a hot. Gets hot at the right time for a little while. Just a good bench player. But yeah, for the Giants. So.
Gotta be honest, when I seen the average and everything, I'm like, where's he playing? Yeah. I had to remind myself.
Yeah.
Just some other honorable mentions. I know you got some guys too. 4 guys. Mookie Betts was on the cold list last week. He's heating up again. Robinson Cano, the Mets. I know a lot of people, at least on Twitter, I seen were talking kind of garbage on Cano because he didn't come through in a clutch situation, but he's been hitting pretty good. Corey Seager's hitting good. Kyle Lewis, I seen him hit a home run. I seen a clip of him hitting a home run to hit the cover off the ball. Yeah, he's been batting good.
He's going to be a real good player for the Mariners for a long time. And then Jared Kelenic, and they got some guys over there. So
yeah,
hopefully the Mariners can be good here soon.
Yeah, be great. That's all I got for my hot guys. I know there's some other guys I know you want to mention, particularly some pitchers that are pitching well.
Sure. Well, I'm going to start with a couple hitters first to continue your stretch here. DJ LeMahieu. He'll be probably on this list all year. He's in the 400 race right now, batting up there 380, 370, somewhere in there.
Yep.
Dave Fletcher, just another LeMahieu kind of guy. Not quite the power LeMahieu has, but just the same type of player. Just hit all over the place, run like a maniac.
Yep.
And Hanser Alberto for the fight nose out there. So you can't forget about him.
Yeah.
Pitching wise, you got Lance Lynn, pitching great. Shane Bieber, I mean he's striking out everybody in sight.
Yeah.
John Lester,
yeah.
His, I don't even know how fast his fastball is right now. 88. He don't throw very hard, but nobody's hitting him. And Kyle Freeland, gotta throw him out there because I actually like, as you can tell, I kind of like the Rockies and I liked Freeland. And last year was just a tough year for him, and I was rooting for him just to figure it out. Yeah. And he's been really pitching well, so that's good for him. Get back. And get back pitching for the Rockies and kind of get them back afloat to hopefully keep Arenado there because I think he really does belong in Colorado for the long haul, but we'll see.
Yeah, some can't forget about some of the pitchers. We want to give a little breathing room for the pitchers though because you have a good start or two, but Shane Bieber and Lance Lynn really have been pitching their asses off, so it's good to mention them. John Lester, Kyle Freeland. So maybe we'll have some hot pitchers or something maybe next week or in the coming weeks. See what happens. All right, so now we're moving on to the not players, the cold players. Number 1 I want to talk about is Jose Altuve, batting .143 over the last week, .226 on base, and a .512 OPS. Really not doing that good, but...
And I want to mention something with him, too. I seen a video the other day. He struck out on the pitch looking, and Orel Hershiser, of course, was announcing, and he said that it's very hard to guess while you're hitting. Yeah. And he said it's a lot harder to guess when you don't know what pitch is coming.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw that out there. It was funny to hear because it's a former player, former pitcher, and a former real, Hall of Fame type player.
Yeah.
So it was just another, don't forget, shot at, the Astros again.
Yeah.
So another thing to think about is if some of his stats were from that. Was just going through a cold streak. So it was just I heard that and I was like, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that too. So, yeah, Jose Altuve, though, I don't really have bad blood. I think Jose Altuve is one of the players in the Astros I really like.
Yeah,
So
I like Altuve, and Michael Brantley.
Yeah.
He's doing really well, too.
Yeah, he sure is. So, yeah, I think a lot of these guys I usually put on this list, too, will figure it out. Like, Altuve's just a pro hitter. He's going to figure it out. I don't think we'll see him often on this not list. Next, we got Marcus Semien for the A's. He's batting 185 with a 185 on-base percentage, which isn't great. Had no walks. And a 444 OPS. So Marcus Semien not really getting it done right now with the bat. Again, big league hitter. He proved that last year. I don't think that'll last.
Yeah. With him, I watched a few of the A's games, especially the first week. What I noticed with him was he's just missing the ball. Just underneath it. Some real high fly balls, a couple pop-ups. He had a hard ball here or there to kind of right at somebody. So I don't think he's really far off. Like I said, he just missed the ball, maybe just a hair behind it.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned the first week where the hitters were just a touch behind, late popping up. So I don't think he's far off.
No. All right, the next guy I want to talk about is Jurickson Profar. He's batting a .083 average, a 154 on base, and a 208 OPS. Now, Jurickson Profar isn't like an all-star like a lot of these guys on this list, but he is playing every day. He's getting a lot of at-bats over with the Padres. And
he was a top prospect as well.
He for a while was really highly regarded, and he's one of the players actually on this list where it's going to be a little harder to see him come out of the hole. I think he is a good hitter. I think he can hit, but I don't think he's like an elite level hitter like Altuve and Semien. So who knows? We may see him on this list a little bit, but Profar's not hitting great. Actually, a similar average on base and everything, similar stats as a big time hitter we got next is Cody Bellinger, only batting a .087 average, a .125 on base, and a .342 OPS. He is not hitting good at all. We see Cody Bellinger go through stretches like this. This is nothing new.
Did hit a home run, I think, his first home run yesterday.
Yeah.
So that might be a turning point for him.
Yeah. Well, these last two guys, I think they might be turning the corner with Bellinger, and then our last guy here, Gary Sanchez, who, if he did not have that RBI double, and I think he got his first hit just the other night on Saturday, I think he got his first hit. He really his average would be 0. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yesterday before that double, his OPS was under the Mendoza line. I think the MLB average is about 704, 708, 710, something like that. So,
oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's not good.
No. So, over the last week,
He's been close to touching the ball. That's the thing.
No, I think at one point it was like what? He
was 0 for 12 with 11 strikeouts, I believe.
Yep. That's exactly what it was. He's batting 143, 250 on base, 464 OPS. Like I said, thankfully he got that RBI double, got that single. Maybe some of these guys that just took getting that first hit out of the way, maybe then they'll get something going. But
they're going to remember right field.
Well, yeah.
A lot of these hitters. Mm-hmm. Right field is okay to hit the ball to right field. That's what a lot of these hitters, when they play well. John Casher's a big one, too. Mm-hmm. When he just knows that he can hit that ball right field. I mean, he's a really good player. He's over 300 hitter.
Oh, yeah.
Luke Voigt, Gary Sanchez. There's a lot of guys who just use that right field. It's when they start struggling. It's when they just start getting locked into that pull. And then you get off and you get behind fastball, ahead of the curveball, stuff like that. You got to be able to use the whole field. And that's what, some of these guys got to do.
Yeah.
So.
Or get too swing happy and just start swinging at whatever comes at you. I've seen Sanchez do that a lot where it's just a curveball and swing at it, swing.
Right. I think right now he's just like, when he takes a pitch, it's always a strike on the corner or something. And when he swings, it's always a pitch just not over the plate.
Yeah.
He just can't do right now.
Yeah.
If he tries thinking opposite field, it's an inside pitch. So it's just, everything's off right now.
Yeah.
So, but these guys are too good of players really not to at least, get back to some sort of normalcy for them.
Yeah, over the Mendoza line, you'd think.
Sure.
The honorable mentions I got here, or dishonorable mentions, whatever you want to call it. Justin Turner, he was on our hot list last week. He started out good, and he hasn't been hitting great. Miguel Cabrera, I think he had a 2 home run game, which I think people were all hype about, but he really hasn't been hitting good at all. Evan White, I believe for the Mariners, hasn't really been hitting. I think out of these honorable mentions, he's been hitting the worst. Josh Bell for the Pirates. The Pirates really aren't doing all that great right now, so he hasn't been hitting that good. And that's all I got for my cold players, the not players. Some of these guys, real big-time hitters, I think they'll come out of it. Some guys like Jurickson Profar, maybe, Evan White, and we'll see what happens with them. Hopefully we don't see them on this list for too long. Hopefully they get some hitting going. And that's all I got, unless you got any other notable guys that you really just have watched not hit the ball great or really throw great either. You got like guys like Shohei Ohtani, James Paxton, really are not hitting their velocity.
I got a couple big names on here, and I'm going to start off with, maybe arguably one of the best players in baseball, and that's Yelich. I think he's got one hit this year.
Yeah.
So that's not good.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised I missed him.
Yeah, he's not doing good. And then with Kane opting out, sky's falling over there in Milwaukee,
Yeah.
Cheese is going bad. Next guy, Eugenio Suarez for the Reds. Almost everybody on the Reds team was hitting great.
Yeah.
Votto obviously said he had some symptoms, so he's going to miss a few games. But Suarez not playing well offensively. Benintendi, we mentioned earlier, he's not doing well. Not even getting much playing time at the moment. And then for the Yankees, in the 3-hole there, Lepre.
Yeah.
Lepre Torres isn't playing, isn't hitting the ball well. Obviously, these are some of the better hitters. Benintendi, you kind of question, because he's one of the top prospects, and he has played well at times, but you can't seem to put a whole year together. But we'll see. He should be able to snap back, at least be, back to his normal self.
Yeah.
But we'll see what's going on there. Pitching wise, Matt Boyd has not pitched well. 2 starts in a row. I believe we get 5 runs in like 5 innings.
Yeah.
Jeff Samardzija, not pitching well.
Yeah.
Gave up a bunch of runs the other day, like 7, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Ryu,
Yeah.
not pitching well again. Big contract with the Blue Jays. Got hit around, but he's a guy he's got to have a good feel because he doesn't throw hard.
Yeah.
So it might take him a little bit of time to kind of get, put his stuff together. When you throw hard, you can kind of miss your spots.
Yeah.
Samardzija could throw still pretty hard. Matthew Boyd doesn't throw. He throws okay. He's in velocity. Ryu's only about, 91, 92.
Something like that, yeah.
So you got to kind of be right on.
Yeah.
When you throw 95, you can kind of miss a little bit. So these guys are kind of turning around. They'll get back at least to the 4 ERAs, which is league average.
Yeah.
So, but right now they're not pitching well. Yeah, I got some other quick notes here for the, just talk about through the first 2 weeks, I should say. Still, strikeouts are ridiculously high.
Yep.
They're still way up, even up from, last year and the years before where they're striking out, breaking records. But they're still up. I think that's going to turn. The hitters are starting, get back in the groove of things. So we'll see that. We'll see the more contact rate. 7-inning doubleheaders. I think we've seen the first one yesterday.
Yep.
Trevor Barrett threw a complete game shutout. How much you want to count that? It's kind of like Garrett Cole's opening day. He threw 5 innings and complete game shutout. But it is what it is. I'm not really a big fan of that because I don't understand it.
Yeah.
There's no bubble. It's not a bubble field where you're like, oh, we got to get another game in after. And you can't really say it's protecting the players from coronavirus because what's 2 more innings? So I'm not really sure what's.
Yeah, I didn't really understand it
It
either.
doesn't really make sense to me. It just seems like they could just be like, hey, well, why not? We could do it. Let's try it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. You can say it's saving the pitchers, but they're having a short season anyway. They have extra pitchers. It doesn't make sense to me, really.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Games are games. It's the best way to get them in, and it's the best way to get them in.
Yeah.
So you can't really complain too much.
Yeah, whatever.
And the other thing I wanted to bring up was Joe Kelly. That's hard to believe. He got suspended, I believe, 5 games for getting in a fight with Tyler Olson a couple years back. Picking a guy, starting a big fight.
Yeah.
And 8 games for not touching somebody. Not having the bench, not part of a bench clearing argument, I guess you could say. Not causing any real problems. Didn't peg anybody. Suspended 8 games, which is equivalent to 22 games. Which I think is the second most game suspension since like Pete Rose, who got suspended like 30 games. So it just makes sense to me. 3-0 pitch. He did throw a ball somewhat up and in behind Bregman. Obviously, we don't really know what that was. It was 3-0. Did he do it on purpose? I don't know. You all seen a video of him throwing a changeup through his own window. He also said 2 years ago that he has no clue where his fastball is going. He said, I have no clue where it's going. I just throw it. And then another one was a curveball to Correa. Obviously, there's no intent there.
Yeah.
Did he, say some words to Correa? Of course he did. Why wouldn't you? Fantastic words he said to him. Made that perfect face, go cry about it.
Yeah.
But walked off the field. The Astros left the bench, came across home plate to the Dodgers side of home plate. Joe Kelly walked in the dugout, no part of it. Players face to face, especially right now with the league, with some of the pandemic stuff going on. They're face to face. Obviously, a couple of them had masks on. They're almost fighting, which they obviously frowned upon all time, but especially now. Not a thing said about the Astros. Not a single game suspended, not even Dusty for the manager. But Dale Roberts 1 game suspension, and Joe Kelly 8 game suspension. As a starter, maybe it would be okay 8 games because that's like 1, maybe 2 starts.
Yeah.
Okay. As a reliever, that's 8 games. equivalent of what, 22 games. That doesn't make sense for not doing anything. So for you to peg them, how many games does he get? 15?
Yeah, for real.
What if he hurts somebody? What if he, what's going on here? Dusty Baker screamed out at the pitcher for a while there. Nothing said about that. So it's almost like the Astros, you can't get in trouble. I don't understand it. I'm not sure. And it sends a bad message, too, because if you're the Dodgers, not for nothing, but if your pitcher gets suspended 8 games and your manager 1 game for not doing anything, I tell you what, the next game you might want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
You might slide into the guy hard and hit him.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to get suspended, I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
It almost sends a bad, for that situation, almost sends a bad message.
Yeah. If
I'm going to get suspended, I'm going to do something for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to earn a suspension for not doing anything. So I just don't know what's going on. I had no problem with what Joe Kelly did.
Me neither.
I have no problem. I don't care if it was the Astros. I don't care if it was the Giants, just because they're a rival. He doesn't like the guy or something. He threw it behind him. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't peg him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't cause a problem. Astros came across home plate. I see that as a line. That's your side of the field. That's my side of the field. And right now in the year, you're not supposed to be fighting or coming 6 feet close to people. If you cross home plate, that's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
You should get in trouble for that. Nothing.
Yeah, not even a game.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Dodgers manager, Dave Roberts, and Joe Kelly got suspended. That just doesn't sit right with me. I'm not a big Joe Kelly fan either. I don't like the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit here and stick up for the Dodgers, because suspended all of them. I don't care. Just don't understand why the Astros don't get suspended for anything.
I know. Quite literally.
Yeah. And I see some people say, if Joe Kelly said, I'll give you what I was thinking. I'll tell you what I was thinking. Will you, pardon me, essentially, what they did with the Astros, remember?
Yeah.
They said if the Astros tell the truth, we won't give them trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So if Joe Kelly was like, yeah, I was trying to hit him.
Yeah.
Would he not get suspended for that, or was that only work for the Astros?
Yeah.
See, it's a big situation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the problem is over there.
Well, I think it starts with this wouldn't be happening if you properly discipline these guys. Now, you start to see a guy like Joe Kelly who don't care kind of putting it in his own hands. You could say, obviously, with the curveball, there probably wasn't intent there. But there's clearly, he wasn't on the Dodgers at the time. I've seen that argument. Well, he has no reason to do stuff like this. But players are pissed off about this, and you're starting to see that. I wouldn't be surprised if this happens again.
Oh, it's going to happen again.
With like a guy like Trevor Bauer, God forbid, he comes in there. He'll throw at him. He don't care.
Well, God forbid somebody, I know he's not playing, but what if it's Jordan Hicks?
Yeah.
Still 104.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
Yeah. Get out of the way of this.
You want to be a cheater? Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Bring your ribs. Go ahead, go down first, or come out here. I don't care. It's just, it would have happened, I think, if the league would have took a stand for it, but it wouldn't have been glorified as much.
Yeah, it would almost be like, all right, they did their time. There would be a little bit different of a narrative behind it.
Yeah, it's just like they're babysitting the Astros.
Yeah.
It's like some of the MLB did with some of the steroid guys. They babysat them. They didn't want them in trouble. They didn't want to. We get it. You just want to kind of, all right, it's enough.
Mm-hmm.
But do your part.
Yeah.
If you fight, you get suspended. If you do this, you get suspended. If you cheat, you get suspended.
Mm-hmm.
Where does that line stop? You go, well, they won the World Series, so it's okay. When does it stop?
I know.
I don't understand. It just doesn't make sense to me. The league messed this up big time, and they're still messing it up by suspending the players that much. Suspend them. If you really want to suspend them, suspend them.
Mm-hmm.
2 games. 1 game. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't. You want to argue it, you can argue it, but at least it's like, okay, it's reasonable. 8 games. What? And then the Astros got nothing.
Yeah.
Suspend Dusty a game.
Yeah. Or Correa a game for coming across the side of the field and kind of almost inciting it.
Yeah. Suspend somebody. Don't just stand there and do nothing. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. You just let one team do what they want, run amok through the league. For what? At what cost? The integrity of the game. That's the cost.
Mm-hmm.
For me, if I was managing a team, go get them. Sliding hard in the second.
Mm-hmm.
Run the catcher over. Yuli Gurriel, if you're on first base, I'm stepping on your leg. I don't. That's just how it is. I don't care. I don't care at this point. That's how I would take it into effect.
Yeah.
And I think Joe Kelly, what his thinking was 3-0. I'm walking him. I'm pegging him.
Yeah, that's
exactly. An old school way of thinking. It really is. If I'm gonna walk him, I might as well just peg him. I might as well make him go feel it. I'm gonna walk down. I'm not just gonna let him walk down there.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be rubbing it when he's walking down there. So, the Astros deserve what they get.
I agree.
Obviously, don't want to hurt anybody severely, but
let them know we're thinking of it.
You hurt their chances. You hurt their careers. You hurt their money. You hurt their contracts. You hurt their teams. You hurt everything about them, and you got no punishment. So we're gonna make you feel this one.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a 99-mile-per-hour pitch. at your shoulder, at your back. So we'll see. I
Before-
hope they play again, really, in Dodgers and Astros.
I know, me too.
With Joe Kelly back on the mound.
Right.
And if I was the Dodgers and I played them again, I will start Joe Kelly. Like, here we go.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna do it right now. We're not gonna wait till the 7th inning. I'm gonna do it right now.
Before we go into our final little trivia question here, I will extend somewhat of a, quote unquote, like an olive branch to Astro fans, and I will give some credit where credit is due. The intent to hit Bregman, I think, was way higher than the intent to hit Correa. And obviously Correa's, I think he's a big baby, and I really don't like Correa at all. But I will say that Bregman, I think, handled what happened pretty well. I'll at least give some credit where credit's due. He could have been a big baby about it and charged him mound or done whatever, but he knew there was intent there. He knew the reasons behind it. He took his base. He didn't say nothing. I will give some credit there. Correa, obviously, no surprise there that he didn't handle the situation well. But I'm not a huge Bregman fan, but I'll give credit that he handled the situation, like a man. He took it like a man, really. He just went to first.
Yeah. I mean, especially Correa. I mean, you're the one with the big mouth.
Always.
Always had some sort of something to say or a reason why the cheating's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're gonna say that. You're gonna, what do you expect?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get what some of these people expect. Just idiotic, really.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. And hopefully next year things are back to normal and they can get, in a fight and get their asses kicked, what they deserve. And maybe Chapman on the mound.
Oh man.
And we'll let them shaking their cleats there.
Yeah.
But the Astros are a whole nother story. So they'll get theirs throughout the rest of their careers, I think.
Probably, yeah. Wouldn't be surprised.
The only one don't deserve is Dusty Baker.
Yeah, he's doing his best out there.
He just gets, oh man, he got bad luck.
Yeah, for
Gotta
sure.
love Dusty, the high five. So, but just to finish up our episode here, we got, of course, our trivia question that everyone looks forward to. And our trivia question this week is, which player played for the most teams in MLB history? And how many teams? It's a good one. Because there's a few of them you can name. You think, there's a few guys out there. You say, boy, he plays every year. He's on a different team. And he's played forever.
Yep.
So, but the answer is Edwin Jackson. He played for 14 teams, and he's still active. So that number can go up.
Yep.
So here's a guy who could play for, more than half the league. Do a no-hitter, 148 pitch no-hitter.
Mm-hmm.
He's pitched well on some teams. And he's been around a while, but he still can add to that list.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. But 14 teams, Edwin Jackson. That's the answer.
I'm surprised he's even still active because his recent, signings and times that he's pitched in the big leagues, he really hasn't looked good.
I believe 2 years ago he pitched really well, though.
Yeah, he did.
I think it was with the Tigers or the White Sox. It might have been the White Sox. One of those teams he pitched really well for like a year. And then the next year he got signed again. It might have been the A's, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the A's.
It might have been.
He pitched pretty well for out of the bullpen and starter, like a spot starter.
Yeah,
and
I think you're right.
Next year he got signed to like the Tigers or the White Sox and didn't pitch well.
No.
And then he still kind of bounced around. But he's a veteran, played on every team, so that's always good to teach other guys and kind of be around. And I guess you always kind of think he can be okay. Kind of like the same reason why Bartolo kind of came back. Why the Yankees signed him? He's still got talent, you'd think.
Yeah, something.
And he's a veteran, so you can teach something. So we'll see. Why be able to add another team to his list here? But who knows?
Yeah, who knows with him anymore? All right, well, I think that wraps it up nicely. We went on our Astros rant that we needed. I think everyone's kind of feeling the same way in the league, though. So is there anything else you want to bring up? Anything you think you missed, or any players you want to talk about, or anything final?
No, I mean, everyone remember the trade deadline's coming up.
Yep.
About 3 weeks out on that. September baseball's coming up soon already, believe it or not. I know it's just August, or just turned August, but still, you got to remember the deadline and, all that stuff coming up. So we're going to see some craziness coming up, and we're going to see some baseball kind of get back to a little bit more normal look. The players are going to kind of be back in shape and be ready to go. So we'll see. Should be really exciting here. Let me look at some of the teams. O's are in second place. The Rays aren't doing great. The Rockies are doing really well.
Yep.
Padres are playing well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of teams playing well that really you didn't expect. Tigers. So we'll see what's going to happen here and who decides to buy. Do the Orioles buy? Does that even make sense?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. But do they? Who knows?
I don't know.
So, we'll see. The Orioles buy to make a run at, I don't even know what they're running at. I don't know what they could go for.
The 8 seed. I don't know.
What if they won the World Series? I mean, I think if they win the World Series, I think Mike gets a tattoo of the Orioles logo.
No, my God.
So, everyone, you can tweet that at Mike.
No.
If the Orioles win the World Series, he'll get a tattoo. He
great.
promised that. So we'll see that. Right on his forehead.
Yeah.
Right on
yeah.
his
Birdland.
We'll shave his head and put it on his head. That'd be good.
I don't like that.
I'm a fan. Yeah. So, all right. We got something to look forward to.
Tweet at Frank and tell him that we shouldn't do that.
No, I don't think so. I think we should do that. So, all right. We get one tweet at him, we'll do it.
No.
That's it. One.
No.
Somebody won.
No. No.
One. Yeah. So, all right. We got something to look forward to. Go O's.
Great.
Win the World Series.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Good.
All right. Well, that wraps up the podcast nicely. All right. You can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can listen on Spotify and Google Podcasts. You can also listen to this podcast on our website, screwball.podbean.com, as well as our regularly uploaded YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter at @RealMikeLepre. Don't tweet at me. You can follow me on Instagram at Mike Lepre.
And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at FDubs10.
You can follow our official Screwball Twitter at ScrewballPod. You can follow our official Screwball Facebook at ScrewballPod. No E in Screw. And that's it from us, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Take care.